I heard you say we weren't marketing to those people, yet they loved what they saw.
Right.
So family and fun are in the name, and I'm not implying change the name, but when you hear things like that, and then the whole wedding opportunity reception in there, like how many of those transactions have to happen? How many of those interactions have to happen before you start to maybe change some of your marketing and gear it towards some of those other people instead of the family side of it? And maybe it's just an in-between stage before things go back to normal. But I mean, it seems like that. I mean, Tim was talking about the movie theater and renting that. I mean, the reception there, you have this facility. Like, are you moving towards that at this point? Or do you need to see more of that before you start to kind of go more all in on that?
It's really just been a matter of limited resources, not just financially, but primarily of time. You know, there were people I planned on bringing on board to help manage and grow some of this stuff in the beginning, including marketing. And, you know, other than bringing on some actors and having a couple people help with some production stuff, most of that's been stuff that, you know, what I can pull off myself. I haven't been able to have the resources, time or money to outsource a lot of stuff. So we had planned to do event rentals. That's part of our business plan. You know, that's a market you have to sort of work your way into. So we, you know, looked at that as a way to gift back to this couple, but also, you know, something that got some pictures and some things so we could start marketing that. Of course, then you have a limit of 25 gatherings. So every hotel in the oceanfront and everything else is sitting there going, well, all of our bookings have canceled now. So what if we're another venue that can't host another thing right now? So just as we were starting to spin that up, that sort of spun back down. We had planned to do a little more food. We've got a full kitchen, you know, glorious space there. We've got just a simple concession stand right now. We looked in phase 2 in Virginia at the previous business license was still there. And it's like, he was going to partner with us and say, hey, just open up in this whole thing, just so you can open up something in this time. And we're like, we started investigating with the health department and everything else. Okay, what do we have to do to ramp up a restaurant here? Even if we have the same menu, which we couldn't find cooks to hire because everybody was on the payroll, $600 a week, and all the restaurants down there were having a hard time hiring staff. And we're like, we're going to try to hire staff to bring people into a restaurant that didn't succeed with a menu that didn't work well for a few weeks until maybe phase 3 hits and maybe we can open the theater back up. And we're going to spend all this money on food and start a restaurant. It's like, we're not in the business of starting a restaurant. So we'd still love to offer more food and plan to do that down the road, but it's just, all these things are just a matter of time and resources.
That said, how long would it take? I mean, you've scaled back dramatically in order to keep the lights on. How long would you anticipate it would take for you to, once given the green light, to ramp up to full steam ahead that you were hoping to on April 1st?
In a lot of it, we can ramp up really, really quickly. With the show itself, part of the challenge with having a year-round production, a little different than if you do, 2 weekends of Our Town at a community theater. You can get some people together, they rehearse for a number of weeks, they put on the show, and they're all done, they go back to their lives. When you have an ongoing show that you're trying to do 3 or 4 times a week, or even more than that in the summer, the dad in the cast might have to play dad and go with his own family on a real vacation, and we can't shut the show down that week. So we have to actually have more cast members rehearsed and able to pull off the production than you see in any one show. Okay, and that's the same for any kind of large production. You have to have multiple cast members and all those things. And the theater industry has been very hard hit by this, and also in some ways even more afraid to come out and do things than the audience. We've found that. So finding talented cast members has been a special challenge, even though they have very little work to do out there in other theater. We found a lot of them. They're like, well, can we just submit it on video? And you're not doing live, rehearsals and things, are you? And I'm like, well, it's a live show with real people. So, yeah, if you're not comfortable with that, then that pretty much is a non-starter right there. We've had those kind of conversations. We've had people who were cast and, tangents of COVID in their family, or, concerns with a spouse's job that they had to limit their availability for things. And so it has been very difficult getting that cast. Now, I think as things start to free up, there's a big pent up demand there. So I think we could ramp that part up quickly with everything we've done this year and putting the show on already. I think we can ramp that up fairly quickly. And we're hoping by mid to late spring to be ramping that back up. Yeah. So as the vaccines get out there and things like that, we are more than ready to take on an onslaught.